Hey everybody, so today I wanted to talk about something that I call sleeping dragons. So when you have an injury to either like a joint or the tissue, that tissue is irritated and it stays tender. So as it heals, it should become less tender. So we have this happen a lot with patients where they're like, I feel so much better, like nothing hurts. And then you start kind of going down and palpating and you can find some spots. And that's not our way of like trying to make it seem like you need us or anything like that, but it tells us that something's kind of underneath the surface and still smoldering a little bit. So if you think about like a fire, like the fire's out, but those ashes can still be there. So, or like those embers can still be there. So it's kind of the same idea when it comes to like maybe a joint. Like, okay, I got this full range of motion, but we can kind of find a couple of hot spots. Like, ooh, I push there and I still get that headache. It's like, okay, that means it's definitely progressing, it's definitely coming down. But we want to be a little bit leery of those sleeping dragons, that we don't ignore them for too long because then they wake back up and then they turn into these like flare-ups and some other things. So if we can really stay the course and be super diligent about our home exercise program and like the things that we know that make it feel better and our easing factors and hey, how do I self-care for this and get it moving in the right direction? If we can stay diligent on that, we can really flush these things out. And that's part of the process as we go through rehab too. It's, you know, us as your physical therapist checking you out, doing an assessment on you every time. Where are you today? And let's compare that to where you were last time, 2 visits ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it might be. Because we really want to make sure that things are kind of progressing in the right way. And we can tell you, like, yes, you can get back out there and do things, or it's like, it's still a little bit, like, it's still there and it's still just, it's ready just to flare back up again. And a lot of times we can tell that based on like kind of how you're presenting or what we find when we do that assessment. So just something to think about. Again, if you are symptom free, at least most of the time, great. That may not mean that you're totally out of the woods, and I'm not saying that to scare you. I want you to remain diligent, keep doing the stuff. You know, that this is also a time in rehab when people are feeling really good. It's like, great, go play, and then come back in 2 weeks and tell me if it held up or if things flared up a little bit. Because again, we want to make sure that you can get back to all those things, all those forces that you might put in your body through, the stresses and whatnot, and make sure that all those little sleeping dragons stay asleep and hopefully just kind of vanish.